I'm doing very well. I should point out that most of that vision board that got me those titles came from my wife, Lisa, 36 years. Best thing I ever did was to marry her.
What's the secret? 37 years. I'm at 4. Charissa's at a couple months. What's
4
the secret?
days.
I tell you, it's a very important secret. If you're serious, I'll tell you. You have to recognize that men marry the woman exactly as they want them, and then you guys want to change because you want to get better. And women marry the man we can become, and we don't want to change. So from the moment we get married or hooked up, we're starting to spread away from each other, and we got to reconnect. So every 7 years, you have to make an earnest effort to remember you're not the same person you were 7 years prior to that. You got to reinvent the relationship. And the reason it's 7 years is because you have hormonal handcuffs on initially. You fall in love, you got oxytocin, serotonin, all these hormones surging through your body, you're in love. And that's, by the way, biologically, it makes sense. That way you stay together when the kids are young. But you got to reinvent yourself beyond the biology of love. And that's going to happen because you look for other things.
Wow.
Holy mouthful.
This is why we wanted you on our podcast, because Erin and I are not an expert in a lot of things. We may be an expert in sports in some areas, but we're not an expert in relationships. We're not an expert in medicine, but you are all of the things. That was incredible and so true. Is that why the 7-year itch is a thing?
Oh, for sure. And again, if you think about it, after 7 years, the child that has been conceived is sort of able to help a little bit. They can't go off on their own, but you're not changing diapers anymore. And it's unfortunate, but it's a reality that the initial hormonal tools that are used to glue us together, they begin to wear off. You start looking around, which is, of course, the reason that you have to find other reasons to love your soulmate, because you can't just be physical about it. Physicality is always going to be important. And I always encourage people, never forget that, sex in a marriage is vital. That stated, there has to be other things beyond that, and beyond just talking about your kids, that continue to glue you.
My parents said we'd fight about 2 things in marriage, sex and money. So if you don't fight about those 2 things, then you've got a good chance to survive. They've been married since they were 18. They had no money, and apparently they had a lot of sex because there's 3 of us. So it is what it is.
Sage advice.
Wait, can I ask about reinventing yourself? Okay, wait. So I think this will be that's not a good start, 4th wedding anniversary. So we have 3 more years until we reinvent. Where do you start? Where do you begin? Where do you look? Oh my, I'm taking notes.
Well, the first big stumbling block is the guy doesn't really know what the heck's going on. And because we're hardwired to go after goals. That's what you want us to be able to do. When I say guys and girls, I'm talking about masculine energy, feminine energy. You can be any gender you want, but the energy of the masculine player is going to be aim for the target, hit the target, go after it again. The word sin, it's actually a archery term. If you hit the target in the middle of the bullseye, that's hitting your target. If you miss it, that's a sin. So in order to hit the bullseye, you got to know where the bullseye is, and you have to be aiming for it. Guys know where the bullseye is, they aim for it, they'll get it. But sometimes it's the wrong bullseye. So if you hit that bullseye, you still are wrong because it wasn't what you should have been aiming for. And so we're completely oblivious to the bigger issues we've got to pursue in life.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.